wanted to talk to you today a couple of minutes about the advantages and disadvantages of new homes versus resale homes. There are pros and cons to both of them, and really, if anyone's telling you that one way or the other is better for you without knowing your specific circumstances, they're probably lying. But with that said, I've done both, and I just wanted to kind of wade through it a little bit with you to kind of get you an understanding of the differences between them. New homes, the biggest advantages of new homes is that obviously the home is new, but everything in it is new. The appliances are new, the HVAC, the heating and air conditioning is new, the hot water heater is new, the roof is new, everything in that house is new. That means that you will be getting a home that has all of the stuff inside of it at the same age. That is definitely an advantage. As a peace of mind, you know exactly what you're getting for age and the fact that everything is basically out of the box. The other thing is sometimes, depending on how the market is working, a lot of times you'll see builders with builder incentives. A lot of times those incentives go around either closing costs or a lower interest rate, and either one of those is basically money in your pocket. You don't have to pay the closing costs, so all of a sudden you have $15,000 or $18,000 more if you're buying a home in the $400,000 or $500,000 range, or they're buying the interest rate down, and so now your monthly mortgage payment for the next 30 years is going to be lower. The reason builders do that is because they don't want to lower the price of the homes in the neighborhood. As the market slows down, typically resale will lower the price of the home because they need to stay in the market, if you will, for whatever the market is going for at that time. In new home sales, what they do is they'll increase the incentives that they're getting instead of lowering the price. And the reason they do that is if the market then picks back up, they don't then have a new lower price point for the homes that they're selling. This matters for appraisal, especially in new construction. They appraise based off of the last homes that have sold in the neighborhood. So if I've got a $500,000 home, but I start selling it at $450,000 because the market slows down, when the market picks back up in the summer, I'm going to have a tough time getting those homes to appraise at $500,000 because I sold them 6 months ago at $450,000. So instead of dropping the price, they'll buy the interest rate down. So those are kind of the advantages. The disadvantage is twofold. One is that a lot of times when they build new construction, especially larger build construction, semi-custom homes and custom homes, forget, that's not this situation. But in production home building, where they're building, a couple of hundred homes inside of a new neighborhood, that neighborhood gets completely taken apart. They take all the trees out, they level the land, they put in the plumbing, electrical, drainage, put in the streets, and then build the pads for the actual lot that they're going to build the houses on. The disadvantage of that is they've somewhat affected how drainage works inside of that community then. So there are potentials, not always, but there is the potential to have settling happen on that home in that 8 to 10 year range. And that's the reason why a lot of home builders will give you a 10-year foundation warranty, basically because they realize that there may be some settling that happens. So that's one of the big disadvantages. The other one is just, you have to consider, if I'm building 200 homes in a neighborhood and you're the 30th home that's being purchased there's another 170 homes that are going to get constructed. That means that you're going to have a whole bunch of concrete trucks, a whole bunch of framing trucks, a whole bunch of roofing people, a whole bunch of traffic and dust and construction noise and dirt in that neighborhood for probably you average 50 homes a year, probably another year and a half or so, you're going to have a lot of construction noise. So that's one of the other disadvantages just to consider. I mean, if you have a small family and you want your kids outside playing, and you've got, concrete trucks coming through and framing vehicles coming through and painters going back and forth, it can get a little chaotic. I mean, I've actually been in new home construction places where you literally could not get out of the neighborhood because of all the construction vehicles that were, pouring new foundations and stuff. So it's just something to consider as a disadvantage. On the resale side, the advantages and disadvantages are a little different. The big advantage of resale is that you have probably some more upgraded stuff inside of the home. People tend to want to personalize the home once they get into it. Builders do things at the lowest cost they possibly can, which means that they put the lowest cost lights in, the lowest cost air conditioner in, the lowest cost everything in. And as you get into the home, you're like, well, this works, but I don't really like the way it looks. So you take out lights, maybe you replace the kitchen cabinets if you're there for a while with higher quality stuff. So you could potentially end up with a home that's more updated, that's a little higher quality in a resale. Obviously, they're going to have a different price, and we'll talk about that when we get to the disadvantages. And then the other thing that you have as an advantage of existing homes is you now have a community. All the homes are built. You can see how the community functions. You can drive around the neighborhood, and it's something I recommend people do, is just kind of drive around a neighborhood and get a feel of the community. Are there people walking and biking? If you're looking for a place that has more kids, how many kids are out, are they out playing? Kind of get a feel for the neighborhood. It's hard to do if you're the 30th home in a neighborhood of 170 more new homes that are going in. All you're going to see is the 30 homes and the 170 empty lots that haven't been filled. So it's really tough to get a feel of how that community is going to, be once it's all done. On the disadvantages, one of the big things that I talk about in resale is you don't really know the age or the condition of everything that's in the house. The house may be only 10 years or 15 years old, but does that mean that the roof is 15 years old, or did they replace it? When did they replace the roof? What kind of shingles did they put in? Who did the roof replacement? Did the heating and air conditioning have a problem? Did they replace it? How much money did you spend on that heating and air conditioning? Did you buy the cheapest thing that was out there and put in kind of a builder grade HVAC, or did you do a higher version, a higher quality one? These things are kind of disadvantages. You have to be a little bit of a detective when you're doing resale. But that's the reason why you try to find a real estate agent who can help you with finding home inspectors and get that information. There's no cut and dried answer. It really comes down to what you're looking for. I have seen people who have bought their first home and had it be a resale and loved it. I have seen first-time home buyers who bought a resale and wish they would have bought a new home. There's really no answer that's going to be right for everyone. So share as much information as you can with the agent that you're working with, because they'll be able to help you kind of figure out what makes the most sense. But I will say, take the time and go look at both. Even if your mind is basically made up to go with a new home, look at a few resales just to make sure, kind of do a sanity check and make sure that everything is good. I hope you guys are having a great week. I'll be with you again here in another couple weeks, if not before. Have a great day. Talk to you later.